2 years ago, we presented a project at summer camp that spoke about the different cultures among schools teaching Chung Do Kwan style Tae Kwon Do. Rooted in tradition, with committed practitioners and a focus on family, the Chung Do Kwan community has a strong personality beyond its quick and powerful techniques. Now, with the chance to make a second project, I look to explore additional aspects of the same community. I sat down with a new group of high-ranking black belts embedded in the culture of Tae Kwon Do to discuss getting involved in the art, their motivations, and their thoughts on one of the most consistent concepts taught throughout Chung Do Kwan, the 5 points. Representing different schools with different backgrounds, there's a good chance you may find parallels between your own experiences and theirs, because beyond the belts and the moves, they, like you, are the face of Chung Do Kwan.
Go ahead, other leg.
I started this January 1972.
Taekwondo is that type small. That's why I started in 1954.
So in the fall of 1981.
The day before my 7th birthday.
1987.
In 1986.
We started our class 30-something years ago in my backyard.
Well, of course, like every other kid in the world, someday I'm going to be a crazy martial arts superhero.
Apparently, I really loved the Ninja Turtles when I was younger.
So we looked in the yellow pages and there weren't many places around.
First week of school, and I figured I'd like to do some martial art of some kind.
And so a bunch of my friends were going to check out this Tae Kwon Do class.
And Mr. Sun has school.
Like, okay, let me take a look and see what they're doing there.
And I had a health day there, a whole lot of vendors were there. Frank was one of the vendors, and he said he was going to start teaching Tae Kwon Do right in my building where I worked.
It looks like a street gang, a student, called me one corner. They want the money.
I got beat up when I was a kid in college. And I felt really bad about that.
And in those days, you would post events on bulletin boards in IBM, and they posted this class every 10 weeks, people would sign up.
That there was no contact, there were no contracts, and he taught the class himself.
Well, actually, our kids got to start it, and 6 months after I started, my parents started.
My oldest daughter started, and I started doing it to have something to do just with her.
So it was very much a family club, and then we had all these other students.
And in those days, I was a little outspoken, sort of a wise guy, and I was making some comments. They took it very well.
I saw it and kind of got hooked.
What better time than now?
A Boston resident, 6th Dan Peter Everett's career in Taekwondo has been closely linked to the college experience, first as a practitioner and then as an instructor.
For 15 years, I taught the class at Harvard. When I first arrived there, I was a brown belt, and then one by one, my classmates moved on, and the leadership of the club fell to me. But we had trouble maintaining enrollment because people at Harvard have this habit of graduating. And then I got back into it with Lim at the MIT class. But Lim has been a rock. Lim has held that club together for 17 years now as the instructor of that class.
A member of the United Taekwondo Society, 5th Dan Tom Hyatt has recently become an instructor, teaching alongside his mom Peggy in Fishkill, New York.
That's a lot of fun. She's really great. We kind of have our own strengths, so she's really good with the kids and things like that. So, we both kind of bounce off each other, and it's good to work with someone because if it's just you thinking about things, you might not have everything right, but you can always confer with someone, and hopefully you'll get the right answer. Well, we're always trying to challenge everyone. We really want everyone to have fun and just learn Taekwondo. So it depends on the person how you approach everything. And like I have the background in exercise science, so everything I'm doing, I try to tie into that and think, why am I doing this, and key that together. But it's all about just having fun and learning Taekwondo and challenging everyone to bring them to the next level, basically. Awesome.
It's no secret families play a big part in the Taekwondo experience. For 5th degree mother and daughter Ann and Melissa Dombrowski, family has been the key since the beginning.
Yeah,
it's great. It has always held us together. If someone says a family that kicks together, sticks together, it's kind of cool. Because it's very true. Because when we were going along, and we had to bring Jennifer along, everywhere we went, we were together. We grew up in this together. The last 20 years, it's been huge with us. It was weird because we all started at different times. But Jonathan started 6 months later. Then Melissa started. I picked up the forums, and my brother would work with me. And 6 months after I started, my parents started. And Jennifer didn't have much of a choice because she was little, and we just brought her with us. And we just practiced different things at home. Never really beat each other up at home, but... So it actually brings us together for events, and we go on trips, we all go together, and we really have a good time. I really, really enjoy it. Because it's hard to just get out of it, but you know that they're still going. They're going to be at this event, so you can go to that event with them and see my family.
Based in New York, 5th Dan Alex Hahn has used Grandmaster Sun's example inside and outside of martial arts as a starting point for his approach.
After college, I went to headquarters at 14th Street and studied with Master Sun. Stayed with him on and off until he passed a few years ago. Yeah, I got the sense that Taekwondo made him happy, and I think that's the important thing about doing martial arts. It's something that gives you a certain amount of joy in life. I think martial arts gives me a place where I don't have to think about other things in life. Things that might be bothering me at home or work or whatever it is, right? When I'm training, I don't think about anything else, just the training. And that's, I find that to be pretty therapeutic, kind of cleans out the system mentally.
A member of the ATKDA out of New Jersey, 5th Dan Tony Johnson uses the club's big classroom setting as inspiration.
Oh, it's great with there being so many people there, so many upper belts as well, so many shapes and sizes, of course, men and women. You get a chance to see a lot of different people doing the same thing but different. It wakes up your mind and says, you know what, I never thought that I could do this or do that combination. And I probably never would have thought about it had I not seen somebody else in my class do it. And the organization is so huge that I have an opportunity to see a lot of different things. I never, when you start martial arts, you think, okay, one day I'm going to be a black belt. And now I'm standing around here today and I'm a 5th degree master and I have 5 black belts and I promote them. How did this happen?
Jerry Orenstein, based in New York, has a long history of studying Taekwondo under Grandmaster Sun. This journey has now culminated in earning his 8th Dan from Grandmaster Dong Hoon Kim.
It's a little surreal. It's, over the years, I've often said to people that, and I'm sure I didn't make this up, I heard it somewhere, that, 95% of success is showing up. Looking back, that's obviously been the case. I certainly wasn't anyone special when I started, but pretty soon you just keep moving up in the line, other people are gone. When I started out, and I was a colored belt, and I would do 3-step with different people, and everyone would try and teach me what they thought was best, and yet they all disagreed. They all did something different. And I realized that then the best thing to do was just do what Mr. Sun does. Just very simple. Block, kick, block, and I just try and keep things simple, and I try not to do things that I wouldn't actually want to do.
1, 2. A longtime Poughkeepsie resident, 6th Dan Artie Lickman, takes pride in the traditional Wednesday night class, which he has been a regular for decades.
Still have the Wednesday night Poughkeepsie school. That was the night that Mr. Sun always came up. And after Mr. Sun got sick and then he could not come up anymore, the class was taken over by Jim Brady. And so we still have the Wednesday night Taekwondo class going strong. And we honor and keep with Mr. Sun's traditions and forms. So we basically carry on his legacy.
With a martial arts career spanning 45 years, 8th Dan Jerry Bates out of Arizona focuses on the details of Tae Kwon Do to keep improving.
If I need some spiritual respite, I'll go to martial arts, I'll go to a Taekwondo class and beat somebody up. But I'll go there to kind of work it off. It seems like every few years, all of a sudden, something new where maybe I'll start relaxing, not really caring about it, getting a little bored, getting a little burnt out. I'll find something else that ties me back into it, some other aspect of it that, it's pretty interesting. Keeps me going.
As a founding member of Alfonso's Taekwondo in New Jersey, Ed Vidal personifies the intensity of the school and passes that on to his students.
It's the love of the art. It's being able to practice hard, practice with my peers, and as a teacher, to always practicing with the students, seeing my students progress and seeing them getting more confident and excited about their next belt level. It's Tae Kwon Do, Chung Do Kwan. It's hard, it's fast. It's not supposed to be easy. I want my students to be out of breath. I want my students to say, hey, Instructor Ed, my legs are starting to hurt me. I'm like, yeah, that's because you're using your muscles, and that's a good thing.
Out of Poughkeepsie, New York, 5th Dan Nancy Dolan is known to use her height to her advantage by combining speed with endurance and determination.
I try to keep going no matter what. When Master Son did forms, if he said to me, begin, you begin no matter how tired you are, no matter, you may think you can't take another breath, and you went through your forms as quickly as you did the other times, as strong as the other 3 times you did it. And I think what that taught me was that no matter what happens to me out on the street, I'll be able to do it no matter how I feel. Whether it hurts, whether I'm out of breath, no matter what, I'll be able to keep going.
Grandmaster Dong-Hoon Kim out of Tucson, Arizona is a 9th Dan with students far and wide, but his personal motivations in the art are simple.
I like it, teaching and exercise. Keep going teaching exercise, feeling young. I come in United States 33 years old, body's old, next memory sometimes a little older too. Still thinking about I'm still young. That's maybe one kind of self-defense. Before self-defense, this is a keep young yourself. We need exercise. We get old without the exercise, the body down. This Taekwondo help a lot.
And those are the 5 elements that we talk about the most in class: speed, power, focus, balance, control.
You can't become good at this unless you truly have a good balance of all 5 elements.
It's like the core of all martial arts.
Yeah, we talk about them all the time because you can't have one without the other, and if you forget something, it affects everything else. So they'll just need to be together in unison. Otherwise, it doesn't look good. It's not really Taekwondo. So
Just we follow that way, 5, different way. This is the best way people more learn fast. Intensity in each move, speed in each move. That flows into your focus for every move, the strength in every move. It's all interconnected.
When I went to headquarters on Friday nights, the sign is on the wall, speed bump.
I also was always bothered by the 5 words up there, and especially their order, because they're, first of all, very independent. Some things are missing.
Steve Heller, I think it might have been the one who said, the last 6th basic is relaxation.
They're not bad words, but it doesn't include timing, doesn't include relaxation.
If you don't have a good handle on all 5 of those, one will start overtaking it and you'll get yourself out of balance.
If you don't have the power, you're not going to knock anybody down. but you also have to have the speed to get there before them. But your speed has to be accurate, which brings right into focus. And the balance, if you don't have balance, you can't do any of it.
Control, of course you need control to execute your techniques, and also as part of safety for your training partners.
I can't do the speed without being focused, without having balance, without having force.
It really should have been an equation where power was at the end.
They represent ideals, and but there's a relationship between them.
Master Son is a trunk, we are branch. That's a Master Son way. The Master Son already talking about one kicking, one punching, kill. That's not kill. Knocking down, that's you go home. You don't need to fighting.
God forbid we have to use it outside and have to defend ourselves. There's no timeouts. The other person is not going to say, okay, well, I'm going to allow you to do your move. No. You've got to be ready. You've got to be able to hit hard. You've got to be able to analyze the situation and hit hard and fast.
Balance is, it's actually the one I struggle with the most. You know, I'm 6'4½". You know, I'm kind of a tall, gangly guy. You know, balance does not come naturally to me. That's one I have to work on.
Yeah, I mean, I always have to constantly move, and that's part of the way Paul and Chris taught me too, because I got to set up for my range, and most people's range isn't the same as mine. So they're trying to come in at me a lot, so I have to figure out some way to position myself in that right spot, and that's where balance comes in, because if I don't have it, I'm pretty much stuck there.
Balance is very foundational. It's one of the foundational elements. You know, without balance, you can't be strong.
If you're off balance, you're probably not going to be very focused. You can't concentrate.
You can't be fast.
I mean, balance just plays into everything so much.
Of course, there's balance. You know, there's little b and there's big B. Right? Little b balance is, you know, are you physically balanced? Big B balance is, you know, is your life balanced? It's a matter of priorities, and it's something everyone struggles with.
I like to take pride in making sure I'm not, if I'm sparring, not hitting anybody, and I have that control. I really make a big effort in making sure people have correct stances and that they're moving their hands in the correct position. And to me, that's sometimes I'm very picky, but I feel that's the way we need to be. And I think that control is so much to do with focus. That control is focus, and I think in forms in particular, you want to have everything in right where it's supposed to be. And it's got to be controlled, so it is stopping in at that spot. Sparring, I think it's just ingrained. So I think that's very important, and I think that has a lot to do with control. If you know exactly where you're going, you can stop right there. And I think three-step is a huge part on that. When you're throwing the high kicks that are really close, crescent kicks, spin kicks, anything that's close, you have to have that control to make sure you're not hurting the other person. So just in my job, it's control, but it's also my approach to handling situations. I fall back on it a lot, and I know that some people say, how can you just stay so calm? It's because I'm able to control what I'm doing and a situation. I don't panic, and I think that Tae Kwon Do has given me a lot of confidence so that I don't. And it has definitely come into my work, without a doubt.
I can answer, for me, I think focus is about motivation.
Emphasize, well, what's focus? You know, the point of impact, your direct line there. And again, like everything else, it just comes with practice on that.
Trying to improve my techniques a certain way, trying to execute it with less expenditure of energy, but with more speed, more power. Just trying to get the mechanics right.
And I see people who work on speed. I see people who work on strength, and I see people who work on stances. And when I see all these different things, and I see the application from all these individuals, and you could clearly see how if you focus on something specific, you can make that better, and that can trump a lot of different things when you do that.
I think that was the way Master Sun taught me, taught all of us. And so, is to make each technique, each move very clean, very sharp, and not to try really hard not to blur through the various techniques. So one technique at a time, and then string them all together in a way that is faster and more powerful.
And I like the expression of power because the word strength is not up there. And nobody talks about strength because not everybody can be strong. All you can do is the best you can do. The point of what we do is to get the most out of us that we can and to create that power.
But a lot of it is in your head. And so you have to feel strong in your mind, and then that'll translate to strong in your body. But there's nothing like experience and developing, the ring sense to do it.
It's that culmination of all the other aspects of what you do physically. I mean, the power that we do in martial arts is no different than when a golfer has his club head strike the ball.
And believe me, over the years, I was what you might consider like the 98-pound weaklings, if those old enough remember the old Atlas. And I had many broken bones in my beginning days. But you have to stick with it, and then you'll learn and you'll develop and you'll get better.
I feel like speed is my best defense because I need to do something so fast that it will startle someone so I can get away. And I work hard at it.
But it's not just speed of a move, it's also speed of analyzing one's opponents, particularly in freestyle, and going for the opening. And when you see that opening, you go for it full force, as fast as you can. You want to be able to hit and hit hard and get it done and over with. You want to get into an extended fight. So that's how we practice from beginning to end.
And part of my speed is reaction time, where in the ready form and the instructor says begin, I try to react immediately. As soon as he's saying begin, that's when I try to start, because I need to react quickly.
I always tell my students, Victor always tells his students, if you are not gassed at the end of your form, then you're not doing it right. You have to be going full 100% all the time. And if you have to keep a couple deep breaths, that's what you got to do. And stomp your feet.
Guys in the back.
I'll just stand in front of the camera guy. Okay.
Oh, I love the group approach because, again, it goes right back to all of us doing the same thing, but different.
So they all had their roots with Mr. Sun, all the instructors. So we have the Sun traditions.
Yeah, I think the group approach is good, and it's very different from what we used to do, because it used to be a very top-down approach.
But this has worked out very well, and I'm surprised, and it's very good because you can have a small school and still be part of a bigger thing without anyone taking over what you're doing or telling you what you have to do. And that's tremendous. I think it's great for the students.
It's nice because you had people coming from all over. You could go to different classes. You could all get together on Wednesday night and see everyone's style and then spread it out.
No matter how I think I'm explaining something to someone, whether it's a technique or a stance or anything, no matter what, and I think I'm using plain, simple English, might not get it across until they come to an event like this and see somebody else do it or explain it differently. Same thing, but they just explained it differently.
We'll introduce maybe new ideas, maybe new ways of executing techniques, and just allow an easier exchange of ideas. Hopefully.
I think the group approach is great because, otherwise you can work with the people in your class, but there's only so many of them. But now when I come here, there's so many other fifth degrees that I can fight and work with and pick their minds because everyone has a different philosophy. So there's always something to learn coming to these things, and we all just kind of blend them together and hopefully make everything stronger.
It's just nice having to be able to say, hey, we're going to try to go over here this week or here this time, and just pick up something new at each class you go to.
Being able to touch base with everyone again that we haven't seen in sometimes decades, and now we're seeing each other on a regular basis, 6 months, every tournament, we're supporting each other, going to each other's classes, so it's a really great thing, and I always look forward to going to a Black Belt Friday or dropping in someone else's class just to practice and being able to just, be with my peers, and I find that very fulfilling and exciting.
I absolutely love the people. The exercise is great. I like to constantly be working on my forms because I know I always have to improve them. They're never going to be perfect. But I really believe that the more I do it and the more I watch other instructors, the better that I'm going to get. But I have to say it's the people that bring me back.
I didn't know about anyone else. I thought we were it. I thought we were the universe. And I found out that there's more out there than just what we do, and I'm liking it. I like seeing the other approaches. I've made a lot of new friends this way. It just, I'm enjoying this.
Grandmaster Sun used to talk about how proud he was of the accomplishments of his students. Not their accomplishments, in his class, although he liked that. But the thing that made him most proud is when his students went on to do great things in their community, have great careers, and he really felt like what he taught should energize people to become strong in the things they do outside of the Tae Kwon Do studio.
Well, there was a time when I actually thought I would just stop. But it's hard to just stop something you've always been doing. And especially because you have relationships with people that are doing it. And then it just doesn't feel right. I mean, you're doing something for so long. It's just, it's like going outside without your pants on or something. It's just...
I had a student came up to me on Wednesday, at the Wednesday night class, and he said, what is the correct protocol? Can we wear our patch? And I said, of course. Master Kim, and that's how we started class today, he started out by saying, we are all Chung Do Kwan, we are all family. And I said, you wear your patch and you wear it proud, because that's who you are.
I feel like given what Tae Kwon Do has done for me physically, mentally, and by connecting me to this community of friends, that's not something I would ever leave willingly. That's something I'd be crazy to stop doing.